All right, I think we're going to get started. I would like to welcome all the newly certified impartial hearing officers to this webinar on the impartial hearing reporting system, or the IHRS. This is Kathy Tiznachek, supervisor of the due process unit here in the State Education Department's Office of Special Education. Also presenting with me today is Sonia Tucker, a member of the due process unit staff and someone who is extremely knowledgeable about IHRS. IHRS accounts have been set up and passwords have been provided to all the new IHOs, and you should have no difficulty accessing IHRS at this time. Please let us know if you have any difficulties by sending an email to the SpecEdIH mailbox at specedih@nysed.gov. Let me just review the webinar norms for this webinar. All the phones will be placed on mute. If you have a question, you can type into the chat box and your question will be addressed during a break. The chat box icon is located at the top right-hand corner of your screen. Remember to direct your chat to everyone. And at the end of the webinar, you will be asked to fill out a survey based on your experience today. Also, we have built in specific time into the webinar to respond to some questions that are sent to the chat box. So send your questions at any time, but we will spend time during these specified breaks to respond to as many questions as we can. If we don't have time to respond to all of the questions, we will be posting the questions along with this webinar within the IHRS help file. So we'll get started. During this webinar, we will cover the following topics: what the impartial hearing reporting system is, why IHRS was established, the purpose of IHRS, who uses IHRS, and we will review the contents of IHRS. IHRS is a web-based system. It's a real-time database of impartial hearing cases. Districts enter information as timely as possible. Impartial hearing officers do not enter information directly into IHRS. IHOs provide information to the districts, and district staff enter the information into IHRS. Information in IHRS includes the IHO's contact information, which is provided to Sharon Beltman via an assurance form, and that includes the IHO name, business phone, business fax, business email, and business address. Information also includes district rotational lists. Each of you are listed only on New York City's rotational list, as all recently certified IHOs serve only the New York City region. Case details are included in IHRS, such as case request dates, the IHO appointment dates, resolution period information, hearing dates, issues, decision due dates, extension information, case closure types, such as actual decision, settled, consolidated, withdrawn, etc. However, case details not included in IHRS include student-specific identifiable information, attorney information, copies of decisions, and cases in IHRS are identified by the case number assigned by the district. The IHRS system uses a 5-digit number that coincides with a 6-digit number used in New York City. So we have both 5- and 6-digit case numbers. My slide didn't. Okay. I think I went too far.
You go back.
Sorry. Okay, here we go. Why was IHRS established? There was a 2002 stipulation of settlement agreement in the Engweiler versus Pine Hill Central School District case that was the basis for IHRS. Also, Public Law 108-446 of the Individuals with Disabilities Education Act of 2004 requires monitoring of a percentage of adjudicated due process hearing requests that were fully adjudicated within the 45-day timeline or 30-day timeline for preschool students, or within a timeline that is properly extended by the hearing officer. IHRS was designed to provide a method for the State Education Department, or SED, to capture a variety of data regarding impartial hearings, including data required for reporting to the U.S. Department of Education. IHRS allows districts, SED, and IHOs to monitor regulatory requirements and required events regarding impartial hearings. On a daily basis, SED monitors the timeliness of IHO appointments and IHO decisions. Staff here in SED review case information daily to ensure compliance with regulatory timelines. We notify school districts and IHOs when an IHO appointment or a decision is past due. An initial late notice is an email notice to an IHO and also to a district. It occurs within 5 days of the compliance date of the case elapsing. A second late notice is an email notice to an IHO and a district within 2 days following the initial late notice. The decision continues to appear late. SED will contact the district if there's no response from the district to the first and second late notice. No late notice to an IHO is sent at this stage unless the district informs SED that it has not received any information from the IHO about the case. If the district has received information from an IHO but has not entered it into IHRS, in the rest of state districts, we have a referral to our Special Education Quality Assurance Regional Office for follow-up. In New York City, this office would contact the administrator of the New York City Impartial Hearing Office, and we would inform that administrator that the office must immediately update the case in IHRS. SED will contact the IHO when there is no response to the initial and the second notification. The school district indicates it has not received any case information from the IHO and the case remains out of compliance. If we get to that stage in our monitoring protocol, we will send a series of non-compliance alerts or notifications if there's no response from the IHO or the case remains out of compliance, and those will go to the impartial hearing officer. All right, let's take our first batch of questions, if there are any, and we'll take a look. No? Okay, we have no questions so far about the content of the webinar. So we will continue. Okay. Okay. Who uses the impartial hearing reporting system? The districts use it. Section 200.5 I3 of the regulations of the Commissioner of Education require districts to submit impartial hearing data to the State Education Department. Districts must create policies to ensure that data is collected and entered into IHRS in a timely fashion. Districts must report all dates and actions as they occur throughout the impartial hearing process and must report all impartial hearing information as provided by the IHO. State Education Department uses IHRS in that we store data entered by the districts to monitor the timeliness of IHO appointments, the date of initial resolution meeting, date of the end of the resolution period, date of the initial scheduled hearing, compliance dates for decisions, and proper calculation of extensions. SED also uses the data to generate reminders of upcoming and/or missed deadlines to districts and IHOs related to closure of the resolution period, scheduling of pre-hearing conference or initial hearing within 14 days of the resolution session closure, if it's a parent-initiated case, or within 14 days of the appointment of an IHO in a district-initiated case. We also generate reminders about related to an extension date if the extension date was not accepted, for example, if it did not change the compliance date, or if the extension was in excess of the 30-day maximum allowed. And also we generate reminders of deadlines related to late decisions. Impartial hearing officers use IHRS. You can access your IHO contact information. Again, that's the business address, phone, email. Also included is the county or district areas of service as selected by the IHO. IHOs can access case information, which includes 3 different queries that can be run: a detailed case query, a summary case query, and a late decision query. And I'll go into those a little bit in more detail a little bit later. The IHO toolbox will be very useful for IHOs. It provides a list of active cases, an extension calculator to help determine a length of an extension, the IHO activity summary, and the summary of hearing timeliness. IHRS also has a help file that will be very useful to IHOs. It has information about IHO responsibilities, timelines for impartial hearings, have a case extension form which an IHO can use at a hearing to capture extension information. All right. Right. This one? Go back to. Okay. The pathway to IHRS. To get to IHRS, you would have to go to the New York State Education Department website, www.nysed.gov. Choose the NYSED Business Portal, and that's where you will log in with your password. And then you would click on the Impartial Hearing Reporting System. Okay, any questions? We'll take a look and see if any questions have been submitted. No? Okay. I'm going to turn the webinar over to Sonia.
Thank you. Okay, located in the IHRS navigation menu is a help link that links you to our online help resource designed to assist users with understanding and navigating the Impartial Hearing Reporting System, or the IHRS.
Ready?
Yep. Right now, we're going to go to the help file online. And here's what the help file looks like. This is actually the IHO help section. This is dedicated to, the help file includes a section dedicated to the IHOs that provides information regarding IHO responsibilities related to regulatory requirements, information and steps to access the IHRS, information regarding different stages of the impartial hearing timeline, and the IHO toolbox, which we will go into more detail later in this webinar. Also included in the IHO section of the help file is a copy of our revised redaction standards for impartial hearing decisions submitted to the Office of Special Education. This section also includes a sample copy of an impartial hearing decision cover sheet that focuses on the specific information a school district will need to close the case record in the IHRS. Okay. On the main menu screen of the IHRS is an IHO information section that includes a link to the impartial hearing officer query. Every IHO has a contact record listed in the IHRS. The contact records are used by SED staff in case we need to contact you. They're used by school district staff for appointment purposes, and they may be used by you to verify the contact information you have submitted to SED. To search your current contact information listed in the IHRS, you would click on the Impartial Hearing Officer Query link on the IHRS main menu, and an initial query screen will appear with query criteria fields in which to search by. Checking on the list link next to the IHO ID field displays a pop-up window listing only the signed-in IHO's ID. You can search by name. We recommend searching by last name, and if that does not return the desired result, we suggest entering a percent symbol in the beginning and or end of any part of the name when searching by this field. In the address type field, there are two types to query, primary and secondary. Primary is the default, and secondary may be included with your contact information if you have indicated a second address you wish to be contacted at. Clicking the list link next to the county field will display a pop-up window listing all counties in New York State. Choosing a county from this list will query whether you have included the specified county to the list of areas you wish to serve in. Clicking the list link next to the institution field will display a pop-up window listing all school districts in New York State. Choosing an institution from this list will query whether you are listed as being on that school district's IHO rotational list. In most cases, IHOs notify SED of the specific counties they wish to serve in, and they are available to all institutions within that county. An exception to this may be if the IHO is employed at a specific school district and cannot serve as an IHO for that school district. So the IHO may serve all other institutions within that county except for the one. The YN indicator next to the IHO inactive field will query whether you appear as inactive or active in IHRS. For example, if you're active and you indicate an N in this field, a result of no records returned will appear. If you're active and you indicate a Y in this field, your contact record will appear. Once you have entered your query criteria, click Find. After clicking Find, an initial results screen will appear. Click on the IHO ID hyperlink, and more detailed contact information will appear. You will see your initial contact information in the first section, an addresses section displaying your primary address contact information, and secondary address contact information if you have indicated one, and a county listing section that lists all the counties you have indicated you will serve in. Clicking on the primary hyperlink in the addresses section will return your full contact information that is accessible to SED staff and school district staff for appointment purposes. This information includes your business address, business phone number and fax number, and business email address. You may also notify us if you wish your email address not to be publicized. SED recommends IHOs submit business contact information only as it may be subject to FOIL requests and is accessible to SED and school district staff. It is also required that you have at least one means of contact recorded in the IHRS so that school districts have a way to contact you for impartial hearing appointments. Okay, and if there are any questions right now, we'll take those. Okay, we have no questions at this time, so we'll move on. Thank you. Okay. On the IHRS main menu, you will also find an IHO toolbox section. In the IHRS toolbox, you will find features that will assist you in managing your cases, such as your list of active cases. The list of active cases will only show cases you are assigned to that are currently in resolution session or in the hearing process. You'll also find an extension calculator, and the calculator will assist you in verifying your extension calculations according to regulatory requirements. Clicking on List of Active Cases will return a screen listing all of the open cases you are currently assigned to, broken into two sections. First is the cases in hearing process. This section includes the case ID, that is a hyperlink to the actual case record, the district case number. This is helpful to IHOs serving New York City as it relates to the, as it relates the New York City number with the IHRS case number. This section also includes the district name, case type, request date, and whether the case is expedited for each case listed. The resolution end date column identifies when the period has ended. If there is no date listed, it means the district hasn't entered an end date in the case record yet. The end of 14 days to initiate hearing column lists the date of the 14th day after the resolution period has ended. If this date is italicized, it is the projected date of the 14th day after completion of a full 30-day resolution period for non-expedited cases or completion of a full 15-day resolution period for expedited cases. The cases in resolution the cases in resolution section list cases also including the case ID number, district case number, district name, case type, request date, whether the case is expedited, and the resolution compliance date. The resolution compliance date is either the 30th day from the request date for non-expedited cases or the 15th day for expedited cases. This date gives an indication of when the resolution period will end and the hearing timeline begins. As mentioned earlier, the IHO toolbox also includes an extension calculator. Clicking on Extension Calculator from the IHRS main menu will return a simple query asking for either the IHRS case ID or the district case number or New York City number. Then click Find. A screen will appear with the current timeline information for the case query. It will list the request date, indication of whether the case was previously extended, the current case compliance date, and the date after which an extension may be granted, which may be the date of the resolution session has ended for parent-initiated cases, the date the IHO was appointed for district-initiated cases, or the compliance date before a prior extension was entered. In the Calculate Extension section, you may verify the calculation of an extension by length and days. IHRS will calculate the appropriate new decision date based on the number of days you have determined the extension to be. You may also verify the calculation of an extension by your proposed new decision date. IHRS will calculate the length in days of the proposed extension, which will let you know whether you're under, over, or spot on a maximum 30-day extension. After clicking Enter under the Calculate Extension section, IHRS will return its results based on the information you have entered. We will see the case ID, The highlighted column will indicate which calculation we used. Here we used length and days. And last, what the new decision date will be based on a maximum 30-day extension. If the results are not what you expected, click the back to calculate link to go back and recalculate. Okay, and at this time we'll take questions. No? No questions? Okay. So we will continue. Also included in the IHO toolbox is your summary of hearing timeliness, which is a summary of the timeliness of closed cases you were assigned to and completed. Also included is an IHO activity summary. This summary reports your appointments and hearing activity by school year beginning July 1, ending June 30. To query your hearing timeliness, click on the Summary of Hearing Timeliness link on the IHRS main menu. On the query screen, you may search by your IHO ID. Clicking on the list link will open up a pop-up window displaying only the signed-in IHO's ID, or you may search by your name. Again, we recommend entering your last name or use the % symbol before and or after any part of your name for more accurate results when searching by this field. You may also query by cases closed within a specified date range and or by cases requested within a specified date range. Clicking Find at the bottom of the query screen will return a summary report of your hearing timeliness. As indicated on the results screen, this report displays for the time period selected the total number of closed cases where the selected IHO was the only or last active appointment. The on time column indicates the number of cases where the case was closed or the decision was rendered by the original or extended compliance date. The late column indicates those cases that were closed or the decision rendered after the original or extended compliance date. Lateness is grouped in segments of 15 days, and the late cases section provides links to the case records that are identified as late. Clicking on IHO Activity Summary on the IHRS main menu will return a query screen. Here you can search your hearing activity for hearings requested within a specified school year beginning July 1 to June 30. You may search by your IHO ID. The list link will display only the signed-in IHO's ID, and you must indicate which report year you wish to view. Then click Find. A summary report will appear listing your hearing activity within a specified report year. Just a note, if you leave the IHO ID field blank on the previous query screen and click Find, IHRS will return a statewide summary for the specified report year. The summary of activity includes the total number of your appointments, breaking out the number of appointments you recused from and were rescinded, the total number of your appointments where you retained the case, breaking out the appointments as adjudicated, where a decision was rendered, non-adjudicated, cases that were settled, withdrawn, consolidated, insufficient, or dismissed, and pending, cases that are currently ongoing. The summary also includes a column indicating the % of cases you were appointed to and retained that were adjudicated, non-adjudicated, and pending. The line below the table indicates your late case rate percentage based on the number of cases you were assigned to and retained, and of those, the number that were closed late. The summary also provides a table including your summary of timeliness excluding pending requests. This section of the chart is broken out by your total number of adjudicated and non-adjudicated cases, and of those details the number and percentage of your cases that were adjudicated or closed otherwise within an original timeline and with an extended timeline, and the number and percentage of your cases adjudicated and closed otherwise that were late. This section also further details the number and percentage of your late cases in segments of number of days late. The last section of the summary includes your extension activity broken out by total number of extensions granted in adjudicated and non-adjudicated cases. The extension error rate section details the number of your extensions that were calculated over 30 days and had to be adjusted by the IHRS, the number of extensions that were not accepted by IHRS because they were granted too early, and the number of extensions that were not accepted by IHRS because they did not extend the timeline. And lastly, the extension average section lists the average number of extensions you granted per the number of cases you were assigned to and retained.
Okay, I'm going to go into a little bit of detail now on the queries available. The detailed case query available in IHRS will provide the results of all the case information that's been entered by a school district. There may be multiple entries for each case. The summary case query, as was mentioned, will provide the results of the case information on an individual or a group of cases. The late decision query result will show you the open cases where decisions have not been rendered or have not been recorded by the district within the proper timelines. Results of these three queries show only the cases the IHO doing the query or requesting the query is appointed to. On this slide, IHO late decision query. The query results will show a summary of cases with decisions that are past the compliance date. The query results include case ID, the district case number. Again, that's only applicable to New York City. Rest of state districts all use the IHRS number. The request date, the IHO name, whether the case is expedited or not, the case type, CSE or CPSE for preschool, extension information, number of days late, and it will also indicate the late notices that have been sent. The first email, the second email, the first notice to the district only, the second notice to the district only, the first district contact for a late decision, which goes to a superintendent, second district contact, CEQA referral. Remember I mentioned special education quality assurance for districts outside New York City. It also will, the query result will also show any late notices sent just to the IHO. We call them the IHO 1 late notice, and then the non-compliance notices, which we have 4 of, that would go to the IHO. And the query results show the compliance date of the case. So this query result shows an enormous amount of information about the case. All right, do you have any questions? Are there any questions? Just send them in, and we will address them at this time if there are any. Nope? Okay. All right, moving on. We'll talk about the reports that are accessible in IHRS. We have an extension reason report, which lists the frequency of extension requests by the reason for the request, the date of the request, the district and/or region involved. And how to access the extension reason report, you would enter the query information, and then you would just click Find. Again, the query information could be the extension reason, the request date, the district code, or the Special Education Quality Assurance region, CEQA region. That will bring up a screen that breaks down the extension reason by the total requested by the parent, the total requested by the district, or the total requested by both parties, the total number of extensions granted, and the total number of extensions denied. Now this sample shows no extension reasons denied. However, IHOs can and do deny extension requests. I don't think we have any questions sent in yet, so we'll keep going. If you have questions about the Impartial Hearing Reporting System, you can access the IHRS help file or email the spec@IH mailbox. Again, that's spec@IH@NYSED.gov, which we monitor daily. Or you can give us a call. You don't need to ask specifically for Sonia or I. Any of our staff can assist. Your call can go to any staff of the due process unit, and we will direct you to the appropriate section of the IHRS help file. We will send you technical assistance information by email, or we will provide direct assistance over the phone if necessary. All right, we have had no questions. If we do get questions, we will post them with this webinar in the IHRS help file shortly. Otherwise, there is an additional presentation of this webinar scheduled for Thursday, May 21st, 2015, from 12 noon until 1:30 p.m. And thank you for your attention and for